I can't believe you had only called one hockey game in your career
crazy.
before the 1980 Olympics.
Correct.
And the reason, part of the reason why they gave you everything is because you called one hockey game and no one else called it another.
Correct.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you can't imagine Cosell sitting there and doing those games. McKay was going to be the host and do figure skating. Frank Gifford and Bobby Addy wanted to go up to the mountain and do the skiing in the morning, and then go to après ski beginning at 3:00 with champagne and caviar. And then it's funny because I really wanted speed skating because Eric Heiden was going to be the big story of those Olympics, and clearly would have been. He was expected to win 5 gold medals, and he won 5 gold medals. But they gave that to Keith Jackson. And, when I got hockey, I wasn't disappointed because, among other things, if you're doing a Winter Olympic sport, isn't it better to be inside, than outside? I mean, when I did the 1972 Olympics in Sapporo, Japan, that's where I did that one hockey game. Among the other events I covered was the biathlon at 10 below on the island of Hokkaido. So getting that assignment was pretty good. I could walk to the arena, and then, of course, as it turned out, it was like the most iconic moment of my sportscasting career. Nothing will ever beat that. People say, what's your favorite? I go, really?
I love that.
I mean, I've got a top 5, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then number 2 is number 5. I mean, nothing can beat this.
Right. And just seeing this moment, and but Ruzioni mentioned it earlier too, Al. It's kind of like what's similar to it. A lot of people thinking the '86 World Series ended when the ball went through Buckner's legs.
Correct.
There was a Game 7.
There was
actually after a rainout too.
Right. I think the Red Sox even had the lead in the Game 7. Right?
And there was still another game.
One more to go. Sure.
But that really wasn't in doubt. Was it in doubt, that game at all?
Finland game? Finland was
winning.
Projected to be better than we were. Oh, no. Finland was. So going into that tournament, Soviets obviously number 1. Right. Czechoslovakia, a clear number 2. Mm-hmm. Then you had Sweden. And remember, we had to go to the final 30 seconds to wind up tying them on Bill Baker's goal. That was gigantic. Finland. West Germany was pretty good as well. So we were a team that looked like maybe, with some luck, we could win the bronze. Maybe.
Was Rune Aldridge out of his mind after this happened? Because this is the dream come true, right? Is a story like this in a moment like this on a broadcast like that.
Well, he was happy, but I think he was unhappy that we couldn't get this game moved to 8:00 Eastern time. Instead of 7.
Can you imagine this day and age?
5.
Could you imagine this day and age?
It couldn't happen. Of course not. No, within a second and a half. TikTok has it, or X has it, or wherever it is has it, right? Everybody's got it.
In the palm of their hands?
Yeah, we're living in those years, it's like we're working with an orange juice can and a string, right? It's a different animal. And don't forget, I've told you this story before, that because it was on tape delay, the game ends, and I mean, it's crazy. But now they have to empty out the building to bring in a new crowd that had the tickets for 8:00, which turned out to be the other semifinal game, which was Sweden against Finland. So they made Ken Dryden and me stay and do the game into a tape machine in case we had technical difficulties when the tape of the U.S.-Soviet game was being played. Think about how ridiculous that was.
Oh, my word.
So Ken and I now had to do Sweden-Finland in a game that went to nobody and no place.
Al Michaels here on the Rich Eisen Show, everybody.
Wow. Well, I got in some more practice for the U.S.-Finland game.
Does that tape exist? Is there a tape of that somewhere, Al?
The
tape of
that?
Probably not. They probably just erased it because we just went, because Rune said, keep those guys there in case we have a technical problem on the U.S.-Soviet tape, and that we could go to the arena and Kenny and Al can do the game.
This hour has flown by, sir.
Wow.
Right? I mean, this has been...
the years have flown by.
I know, 45 years. I can't
it's
believe
crazy.
It.
This is fun. I always look forward to the third week in February, knowing that I'll probably be here. And
you're so kind.
I've told so many of these stories. I'm sure they're redundant to people, but for some crazy reason, they do seem fresh. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Four Nations yesterday and all of the rest, but it's a great bedtime story, isn't it?
Well, it's an incredible bedtime story. It is. It's the ultimate you can't make this up. That's the name of your book. You know what I mean? And for good reason. Your memoir is called You Can't Make This Up, because you can't make this story up.
Right.
That's why they made an incredible Disney movie out of it.
And you know, so many moments you remember. If you're old enough, Pearl Harbor, Kennedy's assassination, Challenger blowing up in 1986, 9/11, obviously. You remember where you were. They're all terrible. They're all terrible moments. This was a beautiful moment.
It was. And punctuated by the way you punctuated it, which is the greatest. It really is. And, you know, in the minute we have left here, just pour it out of you. That's it?
Yeah.
It just came
out of my fiber. Once in a while, I'll have a gulp moment thinking, boy, if I had screwed that baby up. But serendipitous. I got lucky. It was me. You know, there was nothing political in terms of what I wasn't saying, hey, you know, we screw those guys, we're their arch enemies. I did that solely because it was a sports miracle. We couldn't win the game, and we won the game under those circumstances.
But to land on that word, too.
Well, the word in my mind was miraculous. It got morphed into a question and answer, and away we went. Rich, I had no idea. When I said those words, I didn't know that they would have the resonation that they've had through the years. But, you know, you get lucky, and I really got lucky. I got lucky that the right words came at the right time.
How soon did somebody repeat that to you?
That night. When I went to, after Dryden and I had to do the Sweden-Finland game that went to no place,
right.
Walked back to the hotel, Linda met me and said, oh, boy, everybody's talking about, you know, what you said at the end of the game. I go, like what? I'm calling I didn't want to screw the game up in terms of, let's say the Soviets, who were putting a lot of pressure on, had scored. And I'm saying whatever the hell I say, and they scored to tie the game? No, I was just concentrating on calling the game. And I know everybody's going crazy, and the truck's going crazy in my ear. But I was a horse with blinkers on, straight ahead, call the game. And then when the puck came out to center ice with 5 seconds to go, it enabled me to, you know, have that word miraculous come into my head, do a question and answer, which I'd never done before on the air, and, you know, and off we went. What can I tell you?
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.